It's time for the recap. The season's over. Well, the regular season's over anyway. And it's time to talk about what happened. It's been a long road. It's been a long, long road. All right, enough of that. And we're talking playoffs. But before we do that, we're going to do our final game recap of the week. We'll keep it quick because some of these really were meaningless games. All right. Laser Spaniels on a 2-game winning streak. Woohoo! First of the year. Not just a 2-game winning streak, 162 points. The team finally gelled. We're peaking just as we're finishing. 56 from Brady, 11 from Woodhead, 11 from Mike Williams, 22 from Arian Big Daddy Foster. I don't know. What do you think about Big Daddy? 18 from Vernon Davis, 22 from Brandon Jacobs, 162 points. Best game of the year for the Laser Spaniels. 2-game winning streak. Smack Attack, on the other hand, had a pretty rough night because he chose Sanchez for his quarterback. I'm just saying. He should have known better. 12 points from Sanchez. It was pretty rough. He gave away about a third of his points in interceptions. 18 for Benson, 14 for Michael Turner, 16 for Ben Watson, 0 for Percy Harvin, who I believe was out with a hangnail. 0 from Dwayne Bowe. 4 from the Tampa defense, adds up to 87. Smack Attack 5 and 8. Laser Spaniels 3 and 10. That's all pretty meaningless, really. Let's see. Moving on to something that was, well, also pretty meaningless. The Jolly Rogers against DeBiz. Both were eliminated from the playoffs already. But it did come down to last night, Dustin Keller of the Jets needed to get 7 yards in order to pass the Jolly Rogers, who just a few weeks ago were looking like a strong playoff contender, but ended up 4 and 9 because Dustin Keller did in fact get 27 yards, 2.7 points, 103.5 to 101.4. Highlight for Jolly Rogers was Michael Vick, 51 points. That was really, I'd say, Tommy's coup of the year was that he was the one. He was the equivalent of the Eagles who, or I don't know, who is it? What's his name? Andy Reid. He was the equivalent of Andy Reid, who gave him a chance. All they needed was a chance, man. But the rest of his team kind of stunk. When Garrett Hartley is the highlight of the rest of your team, that's not too good. 3s, 6s, 7s. It's like a bad poker hand, basically, Tommy scores. 101.4. On the other hand, Roethlisberger wasn't quite Vickian in terms of points, 29.2, but he had Reggie Wayne to 26 and 17 from No Sean Moreno. I wonder if his brother's like Yes Sean. No Sean, Yes Sean. 103.5. DeBiz goes to 5 and 8. Out of the money. Jolly Rogers 4 and 9. Out of the money. Meaningless games, but still fun. Okay, this one not entirely meaningless. Jamarcus says Bentley looking to steal the number 1 seed from Rough the Passer. It didn't quite happen, but we'll cover that later. He gets 117, including last night he got the 7 that he needed from Santonio Holmes, the Jets' overrated wide receiver. Actually needed only about 4, but he got 7, 117.6. Matt Ryan, 28, 24 from Greg Jennings. Over on the other side, Kyle Orton. He was snorting not enough Orton. He only got 9.7 points worth of Orton. In Denver's truly atrocious loss to Kansas City. 15 from Andre Johnson. Sweet Sugar Andre Johnson. I don't know. Jamal Charles 13, 16 from Matt Forte. 23 from the Giants defense. That added up to 113. Wasn't quite enough. Ghetto Superstar 7 and 6. Now, what did I say a few weeks ago? I said it would take 7 wins to get into the playoffs. Was that right? Let's find out in a minute. Okay. Ferocious Finnick and Bretta is. I'm pretty sure this game was meaningless. No, it wasn't meaningless. It absolutely wasn't meaningless. If the Ferocious Finnick had won this game, I believe they would have gone to the playoffs, however they lost. All came down to Wes Welker, I think, needing 40 points last night, and he didn't quite get there. He had a good night with 14, but Eli is what really killed Tommy. Eli had 14 points. It was a bad weekend for the Mannings all around, but 14 for Welker, 10 for Thomas Jones, and the rest. And it wasn't good enough because Matt Schaub had 41 in a pathetic losing effort. 19 for Maurice Jones-Drew for Brutta is. Darren Sproles brought shame to his family by having negative .13 points. And it adds up to 111.9. 16 from Robert Meacham, who actually apparently is pretty good. And 16 from the Seattle defense. What? Oh, they played Carolina. Well, that explains it. 8 and 5, Brutta is. And we'll evaluate that situation momentarily. You Betcha and Rough the Passer. This one also not meaningless. Rough the Passer, however, roughed You Betcha quite a bit. And so the nervous pacing can stop, Rob. Philip Rivers at 32, 28 from Adrian Peterson. We'll come back to that topic in a minute as well. Steven Jackson, 17, 10 for David Akers. It all adds up to 125. Over on the other side, Drew Brees got about half of You Betcha's points with 41, and that's good news and bad news, I guess. The highlight of the rest is 9 from Chad Ochocinco. 86.7. It's not enough. You Betcha drops to 7-6. Did they make the playoffs? Let's find out in a minute. All right. The final game of the week was the I against Smell This. Now, Smell This, if you recall, started out strong this year. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, he was maybe 3-1, something like that. But ends this year 4-9. I'll check on that in a minute. The I, on the other hand, has been strong all year. 51 from Aaron Rodgers this week. 25 from LaShawn McCoy. 22 from Ahmad Bradshaw. 19 from Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, the law firm of Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. Adds up to 165.3. The only team with more points than the Laser Spaniels this week. What do you know? Over on the other side, 40 from Peyton Manning in a really sort of pathetic loss. 17 for Anquan Bolden. 15 for Javaris James, who apparently is a running back for Indiana. And 13 from the Pittsburgh defense. Todd Heap got a big 0.00, Mr. Blutarski. 121.2. 4-9, Smell This is, to conclude the season. The I, 9-4. Okay, let's go. Let's look at the play. Well, okay, first let's cover the Arian Foster, Adrian Peterson thing. Here's how this went. The beginning of the first week of the year went by. Arian Foster had a great week. Adrian Peterson had a fairly mediocre week. I proposed a trade. Scorn was heaped on my head like mercilessly for Adrian Peterson. The season went on. We did make that trade. Scorn heaped on my head, as I saw, and as I told you. And as it turns out, over the course of the remaining 12 games of this season, Arian Foster had 8 more points than Adrian Peterson. Not exactly a great bonanza in terms of points, but you could stop the Scorn heaping because the trade worked out fine. It was basically a push. So, case closed, all right? Now, on to the playoffs. The standings are as thus. Rough the Passer prevailed, having the number 1 seed, because the points for were 1739 to only 1626 for Jamarcus Bentley. Now, Jamarcus Bentley, by virtue of winning Division del Sur with a 10-3 record, also gets the number 2 seed. Those two guys have byes, and the remaining playoffs look like this. At 9-4, the I is number 3 in Division del Norte. At number 4, Bretta is with an 8-5 record is number 4 from Division del Norte. Ghetto Superstar with a 7-6 record is number 5. Number 6, and that's from Division del Sur. Number 6, You Betcha, with a 7-6 record, gets the final playoff spot from Division del Norte. So Division del Norte sends 4 teams to the playoffs, and as I foretold, 7 wins got you in. 6 wasn't enough. 7 ended up guaranteeing a playoff spot. Although if Ferocious Finnick had won that, somebody with a 7-6 record would have gone home. And that's how it breaks down. So let's talk about the schedule. Next week, let's check the time. Next week, here's how it looks. Rough the Passer and Jamarcus Bentley have a bye week, so use the week to prepare, draw up some new schemes and, I don't know, get all Belichick on us. Bretta plays Ghetto Superstar in the 4-5 matchup. That should be a competitive game. And then the I plays You Betcha, which is also a very competitive game. And then the winner of Bretta Ghetto Superstar plays the number 1 seed Rough the Passer. And the I You Betcha winner plays Jamarcus Bentley. And on we go. So we have this week and 2 more, or we have really 3 more weeks. Next week is what you might think of as the wild card week, then the divisional series, then the Super Duper Bowl, the week of December 21st through 27th. So prepare yourselves for that. Those of you who are not playing, I think we should do some kind of side betting thing. We haven't done that yet, so that might keep things a little bit entertaining. Anywho, that's all, guys. I hope you had a good season. Pay attention. I'll make videos. Don't worry, they'll be shorter. We can take audience questions. We could do anything. We do perform little songs. Something. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for the regular season. Playoffs on the way. Congratulations to those who made it. Condolences to those who didn't. We'll talk to you later.